Hello there everybody and welcome back to Movie Squirm. Today I'm going to be doing another ranking video and it is going to be for Silent Night, Deadly Night. Now there are 6 movies in this franchise and I've got to admit I had been watching 4 of these for the first time. I had seen the first and the second one a couple of times going into this, but the other ones were first time watchers. And I had a bit of fun with this franchise, you know, especially the ones watching them for the first time because I kind of didn't know what was coming. Some of them really do their own thing here, including the remake in some ways. But I don't think this is the strongest horror franchise out there. There are a couple of duds in here, and even the good ones have some problems, but more on that when I get into them in a minute. And if you have seen these movies, please leave your rankings down below, or if you've only seen a few of them, please tell me your thoughts, and I'd like to get into the comments with you, have a little bit of discussion about this franchise, because it is a bit of a strange one. Now, there are some reviews on the channel of these movies. I've reviewed the first 3 in detail. If you want to see them, they'll be in the link down below, along with some other rankings that I've done. So let's just get into it now. In 6th place, my least favourite movie in this franchise. Coming in 6th place is going to be Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. Now, a lot of people might be saying, what? This movie's so bad, it's good. How can you put it last? There's a couple more that are worse than this because you can have fun with it. And the first time I watched it, I did have a bit of fun with this movie. But on rewatch, I just think it's one of the worst movies ever made, in all honesty. Now, the biggest problem with this film is that it just rehashes the storyline, but also throws in lots of flashback moments, and you are basically watching the highlights of the first movie for the first 45 minutes of this 90-minute runtime. And if you have just watched the first movie, then this can be very, very painful to get through. And twice I've done this now, but I've watched this one the next day after watching the first one, and I'm just like, oh my god, I've just watched all this. It basically follows Billy's brother, Ricky, who is the killer from the first movie. And I'll get into that more in detail when I get to it. But Ricky is the brother of the killer of the first movie, and he's in this mental asylum because he's gone down the serial killer path as well. And he's talking to this doctor, and he's just saying about his life and what made him be the serial killer, and it just flashes back to the first movie and, the kills and his brother Billy and what path he went down. And it is the second half of the movie where it does pick up, but that first half is really painful to get through. The dialogue between the doctor and Ricky is so awkward. And the second half of the movie, we do get into a bit more fun. Ricky goes on a bit of a rampage here after getting this girlfriend and, sort of killing her off, and then just starts losing his mind and killing everyone off. But the biggest highlight of this movie is Eric Freeman's acting, the guy who plays Ricky. And now I look at it, it's not really in a good way. So if you've never seen this movie before, you can have fun with this guy's acting. You've never seen acting like it, I promise. He's got these eyebrows going on as he's talking, like, hello there. And he's coming out with all these crazy quotes saying, garbage day. And you might have heard of this quote before. It's like the most famous quote of the movie.
Garbage day! Huh? No!
And he's just got this really crazy laugh. Like, he'll laugh and then just go straight-faced and then laugh again, like this big comic book villain. Honestly, it's so bizarre. I've never seen anything like it. And on rewatch, I just seen how poorly edited this movie is, how much it's just doing what the original did, but in a way worse way. And it's not really even a Christmas horror until the last 10 minutes, where he goes after this nun from the nun school called Mother Superior and tries to kill her off, blaming her for the way he turned out, which does pick it up a little bit because that kill kind of made sense. But overall, I don't think this movie is very good at all. It's lazy filmmaking, it's awful acting, and there's no characters to here that you are going to like. So for me, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 is definitely one of the worst films I have ever seen, to be honest. And on rewatch, it just went way more down in my estimation. So in 6th place is Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. Coming in 5th place is going to be Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 3. A lot of people's least favourite movie in this franchise. And there's quite a bit of bad to go with this film, but what I did appreciate is a little bit of a different direction with the story. So Ricky from the second movie, and the first in small part, he is in there as well, has been sort of resurrected a little bit. These doctors have put his brain back together, and they're trying to study him and see what really caused him to be this serial killer. And they've got this woman called Laura who they think can read people's minds and enter people's minds. She's sort of got this power, this telepathic power, and they're trying to sort of connect her to Ricky because there is a connection there, and they're trying to figure out what's inside Ricky's brain. And that is a little bit of a complex story, but I appreciated the different path. It didn't just try and rehash the first and the second movie with some killer going on a killing spree. Although after 20 minutes, it does totally forget that and turn into that movie. So after an ambitious start, it kind of just forgot what it was trying to do. And we just see Ricky stalking this girl called Laura, I think her name was. And it does become a slasher movie. So after something that I was appreciating, it just goes down the generic route. Now, what this problem with this movie has is the main protagonist of Laura. I didn't really like her character. She's playing a blind woman in this, and she does the blind, the acting of the blind person really well, but she's not a very nice person, a very likable character personality-wise, because she's really horrible to her brother's girlfriend who we meet later on in the movie, and them two are way better characters than Laura. I kind of wish her brother's girlfriend would have been the main protagonist of the movie, the final girl, because she was way more likable than Laura. The movie has Bill Moseley as the killer of Ricky. Yes, we swapped actors in this, thank God. But he hasn't got much to do here. He's walking around like a zombie, and all of the kills that he does are just off screen. And he's got this big transparent bowl on his head where you can see his brain, and it just looks absolutely ridiculous. He looks so dumb. And it basically, like I said, just becomes him chasing Laura, and there's not much more substance to the movie. It totally forgets the story path it went down. We don't learn anything from this telepathic connection or anything, and he must have the worst death scene I have ever seen. Like, he went out with a whimper, a disappointing character with a disappointing end, really. And there's so many long, drawn-out sequences in this movie. I don't think the pacing of the movie was bad, but there are certain scenes where nothing is happening. Like, we might see Laura feeling herself around the house, trying to get around for like 5 minutes. And then we might see her brother Chris and his girlfriend Jerry fooling around in the bathtub and then going to eat something. It doesn't bring anything to the story. So really, it's a very strange movie and not a very good one overall. It is watchable, but it's kind of weak as well. So in fifth place is Silent Night, Deadly Night, Part 3. Better watch out. Coming in fourth place is going to be Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 5, The Toy Maker, which actually stars Mickey Rooney at one point going around dressed as Santa, causing havoc. And he was actually really against the first movie when it came out. He spoke up against it because a lot of people were protesting that a killer Santa wasn't a good look, on these movie posters and stuff, and kids might get a little bit scared, and he actually spoke up against the film. And here he is in the fifth one, starring as this Santa going around killing people and stuff. But that is only a side story here, a subplot. The main subplot really here is this young boy who sees his father killed by this mysterious gift that comes to the house and kills his father in front of his very eyes. And it's a great opening scene to the movie, and it's another one that really kind of does its own thing, where it's kind of an anthology story, this one. It doesn't really have any connection to the first three movies, really. And we go down this mystery route of who this person is, delivering these presents at the door with all these, harmful gifts. Like, there's one point where this kid puts these rollerblades on that have been delivered to the house, and all these sparks are coming off him, off the rollerblades, and they're throwing him down the street and stuff like that. It's kind of fun in that aspect. And there's so many red herrings thrown in, like, you kind of don't know which person is delivering these gifts. You're kind of guessing, and I like it when movies do that. The big problem for me with this film was, one, the characters weren't too likable, and the young kid who sees his father get killed at the start of the movie just turns into a mute. It's Halloween 5 style, like Jamie Lloyd, where they made her a mute and there was just no personality to her character. It happens in this film. And his mother, who's the main lead of this movie, kind of just didn't really do anything for me here. But the biggest problem with this movie is the end, and it does bring it down a hell of a lot. I think it's a good idea what they were going for, but the execution isn't very good at all. There's some Mission Impossible shit going on here where people are taking faces off and stuff. I won't say too much, but you can't quite believe what you're seeing when it happens. And the effects and stupid costume design, I know this is low budget and straight to video, it kind of looked really stupid and just totally took me out the film. So I get this was an ambitious plan, an ambitious storyline, an ambitious plot, should I say. But again, just not executed all that well. But there are some fun moments in here, most notable the beginning of the movie and some of the death scenes. I really like the one with Larry the Lava. He's like this insect toy and it sort of takes over this guy and pops his eyeball out. That was a cool scene. But overall, bit of a bland movie. It has its moments, ruined a lot by the ending as well, which kind of just leveled it out for me to be a very mediocre film, but better than 3 and 2. So that is Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 5, The Toy Maker. Coming up in third place, we do have Silent Night from 2012. Now, I was really looking forward to this one because it was a bit more modernised, and I thought, you know what, this one is going to be my favourite here. I just know it is, and unfortunately, it is in third place, but it does have its moments and some not so good moments as well. Now, this is basically a killer Santa who's just going around this little town killing people. There is no real story to set it up, really. We do see it later on in the movie, but more on that in a second. But this Santa Claus is definitely the most brutal out of the whole franchise. I mean, some of the kills that are happening here are awesome. There is, people just there's just no care for any of the characters. There's no sympathy. People are absolutely slaughtered in this film. There is one moment where this female character is thrown into a wood chipper, and it is an absolutely brutal kill. This Santa Claus just does not care. He's going around with flamethrowers and everything. I mean, if you run into this guy, say your prayers because it's over for you. And there are some fun moments in this movie as well, some comedic one-liners and stuff here and there, which brighten the mood at times because it is a very sinister movie, some dark moments as well, dark looking movie as well at times. But the real problems lie with the story. I mean, it's up a few places because the kills are that good and the killer is probably the best killer in the entire franchise. But we are thrown lots of little clues here as to who this killer is going to be, and I loved playing along with that. And unfortunately, something is thrown in later on in the movie where you couldn't really see it coming, and it's kind of a made-up little storyline to give the ending away, really. And I was just like, oh yeah, how am I meant to guess that? You had me guessing what was going to happen or who was going to be this killer, and then you just throw that there. Yeah, I didn't really see that one coming, and I'm not sure anyone did because you threw it in the middle of the movie. How are we meant to guess who this killer is? So don't try and make it a murder mystery movie, who this killer could be, and then just throw something else in there. And, all that we've been trying to guess for the first half of the movie counts for nothing, really. Also, there's some weird lines of dialogue. Malcolm McDowell is the sheriff in this movie. He's one of the better characters in the film. But they are trying to solve this crime, and he's going, just have a plain burger. You don't need to throw all this guacamole on and this hummus to make something that it's not. It's fine, just plain. And then she goes, no, but what about this? What about this? And goes, oh, now you're throwing extra toppings on. And I'm like, who the fuck wrote this script? But yeah, I mean, story-wise, one of the weakest, but the kills here are the best in the franchise, in my opinion. So if that's all you want from the movie, I think you'll be happy with this. It's not bad, just quite average. That is Silent Night. Coming in second place is going to be Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, Initiation. Now, this is the Halloween 3 of the franchise, where it tailed off and started to do its own thing and become a bit of an anthology film, really. It tells a totally different story that the first 3 movies had, where it had Ricky as the killer and his brother Billy. This one is just something totally different. And you know what? I really appreciated that. I know fans of the franchise that were probably expecting another Killer Santa storyline will be disappointed. But for me, this was a welcome change-up, and it needed it after Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 and 3. Now, this follows this young female protagonist called Neat Hunter, played by Neat Hunter, sorry, playing the character of Kim. And she is this ambitious journalist. She wants this story of this woman who was engulfed in flames and fell off this tower block. And she wants to get to the bottom of it. And she is given this story to follow and try and solve as this journalist slash self-made detective, really. And you know what? She was such a good character to get behind. I really liked her screen presence. I'm just going to admit it now. She is really smoking hot as well, which helped. But she was a likable character to get behind. You know, you care about what happens to her and you want her to solve this mystery. You go along with her for the ride and you're kind of guessing as to what is going on. It does come a little bit predictable in the third act as to where it's going, but it's still a cool story to get behind. It's a cool concept. As we delve deeper into what happened to this woman, we sort of meet this other character played by Maud Adams, who a lot of you might remember as Octopussy from James Bond. And she is sort of got this little mystery about her as well. And she's really being welcomed to Kim and getting her in her circle, and then it starts to go down a big spiral for the character of Kim, basically. Lots of bugs in this movie that start to surround Kim as she gets further into this mystery, which is kind of gross to look at for some people. But the more this movie went on, the more I was like, yeah, I'm digging this story. I really enjoyed it. Now, some people might not like the whole look of this movie. It is a straight-to-TV movie, and it looks very cheap-looking, low budget and stuff. But for me, I could look past that. Now, there aren't too many problems with this film, really. It just might be a little bit bland for some people because there aren't too many violent moments or kills like the other movies in this franchise. It's more of a slow giallo type, dare I say, mystery story going on there. But for me, it was one I love to follow, and the most interesting movie in this franchise. Not the best, probably the most interesting. So in second place is Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, Initiation. In first place, though, we got the OG, Silent Night, Deadly Night. Now, this is a movie that did lead to a lot of protests outside cinemas and stuff because of the reason I spoke about before with a Killer Santa on the posters. And I think it was pulled from cinemas a week after release. So that just probably made horror hounds want to watch it even more when it came to video after hearing about the controversy. And me back in 1984 would have been one of them people as well. Now, what I love about this movie is how it deals with trauma. It's not just a simple story. Although I didn't see this the first time around, I was just there for the Killer Santa kills. But on this second watch, I really think it done well to do a whole villainous character arc and why this character of Billy turned into a Killer Santa. So the movie opens up with, Billy going to visit his grandfather, who tells him Christmas Eve is the scariest night of the year, and Will here, who plays grandfather, just delivers this little moment, this scene so well. I think he's the creepiest grandfather ever, and the way he says, "You better run, boy, you better run for your life if you see Santa tonight," had me in stitches.
You see Santa Claus tonight? You better run, boy. You better run for your life.
And lo and behold, after they visit Grandpa, this Killer Santa, played by Charles Deercop, who is absolutely insane in this movie, kills Billy's parents and chases him, through the fields and stuff. And Billy does get away, goes to this nunnery, and every time Christmas is coming, he is reminded of his parents' death. And you can see why this character is sort of going down this traumatic path. And when he gets this job in this toy store and he is forced to become Santa because the Santa who's coming to visit the kids is off sick, that's when the character arc flips and he goes on this murderous rampage. And I just think it deals with that character arc very well. You know, it's a really interesting story to get behind. It would have been easy to do what Silent Night did from 2012 and just have this killer Santa, but no, it's a good setup. It's a journey that you go on with this character of Billy. And some of the kills are really cool in here too. I like the way some of them are Christmas themed. Someone is strangled by some Christmas lights. There's a woman put on a moose head. And I really love when that kid goes down the sleigh and Billy just jumps out with an axe and decapitates him. So yeah, for me, this is a fun movie. I really liked it the second time around a lot more than the first time. First time I thought it was okay. Second time I appreciated how well it is done and how well written it is as well for a low budget movie. Now, writer Michael Hickey said he went to a screening of this movie because I watched the special features afterwards and the documentary on the Blu-ray. It was really cool to watch as well. And Michael Hickey went to the restroom, or the toilet, should I say, trying to be posh there, and he overheard two people talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night, and he said, he listened in, and one of them said, "Oh, how was the movie?" And the other guy said, "Oh, it's a lot of fun." And Michael Hickey said, "That's the best review I heard because that's what I aim for." It knows it's not a masterpiece, it knows it's not being this genius piece of storytelling, but it is a lot of fun, and I do recommend it if you want a holiday slasher movie, a holiday horror film, you know, that you can just have a lot of fun with. So for me, it's got to be Silent Night, Deadly Night in first place. Okay guys, I hope you all enjoyed this ranking video. Don't forget to check out my Silent Night, Deadly Night reviews down below in the description, along with other rankings. And don't forget to leave your comments down below of what your favourite one of these movies is, what's your ranking. Are you a fan of the second one, unlike me? And don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe to this channel if horror is your sort of thing. Thanks so much, everyone. You take care, and I'll see you on the next video.